Midnight rituals, strange symbols, and mysterious figures performing cult practices.
Senhora?
No one knows who they are or what they're up to.
What?
But don't worry, today's video will show you the moments when these hooded figures were caught doing the unthinkable. While spending the night in a hospital caring for a relative, one man noticed strange sounds coming from a nearby room. When he peeked inside, he saw a patient standing before a cross. The man's body twitched in jerky, unnatural motions, and low, guttural noises filled the air. It didn't look like pain, it looked like a struggle from within. The sight was enough to chill anyone watching. Some said he was possessed, others believed it was something medical, but whatever it was, the witness quietly stepped back and left, realizing this was not something he wanted to understand. Hidden gathering. This short, disturbing clip began circulating online, supposedly leaked from a hidden location. It showed a dimly lit room packed with people wearing dark hoods and robes. In the center, several figures held a man up on a cross-like structure, while others raised torches high, moving rhythmically as if performing a ritual. The footage looked too real to be a prank. Viewers were divided. Some believed it was proof of a secret society caught in the act, while others thought the video was never meant to surface at all. No one could confirm where it came from, but everyone agreed it felt like a scene no one was supposed to witness. Burning house. An explorer decided to check out an old, abandoned house that locals claimed was cursed in 2020. At first, everything seemed calm, just dust and silence. But the moment he stepped into one of the rooms, the rug on the floor started flapping like something alive. Startled, he looked up and froze. A cloaked figure stood in front of him, hunched, dark, and eerily still. Before he could say anything, she disappeared, bursting into a glowing ball of fire that shot across the room and vanished into the floor. Some later said it was her way of shielding herself from the man's loud prayers. He managed to leave safely, but by morning, the entire house had mysteriously burned down. Was it fate or something far stranger? Disappearing intruder. A man who had an unhealthy fascination with dark rituals decided to sneak into one himself. To blend in, he wore the same hooded robe as the rest and hid a tiny camera under his clothes, sending a live feed to his friends outside. The flickering torches lit the scene as cloaked figures chanted softly, their voices merging into an eerie hum. For a while, everything seemed to go according to plan, until the feed suddenly went static. The sound cut off completely. His friends tried calling him, but he never answered. Hours passed, then days. Eventually, weeks went by, and no one ever saw him again. Authorities found nothing. No traces of him, no sign of the cult. Some say they found out he wasn't one of them and made sure he never left. Dark induction.
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
A video uploaded in 2018 left people deeply unsettled. It showed a dimly lit room filled with masked figures, all moving in sync as if following a script. Their faces were completely covered, and in the middle stood one person leading them, gesturing, chanting, and repeating the same phrase over and over. At first, it seemed like an initiation, but the tone and setting made it feel much darker. The supposed leader even claimed it wasn't what it looked like, yet every moment of the clip said otherwise. To those who watched, it looked less like a ceremony and more like a disturbing initiation into a secret cult that thrived in the shadows.
These people are extremists. They're religious extremists.
Red Alley. This man named Robert was taking a shortcut through a quiet alley when he noticed figures standing at the far end. Dressed in red robes, each one held a glowing candle and walked in perfect rhythm, their steps echoing against the walls. He froze, unsure what to do. Then one of them turned its head, slowly, deliberately, straight toward him. No words, no movement, just silence. That's all it took for Roe to back away and sprint out of there. No one knows who they were or what was happening in that alley, and Roe's not going back to find out. Forest of Shadows.
A voyager across the sky,
The clear midsummer moon.
Monte Rio, California has its share of strange stories, but one camper got a first-hand taste of it. Awakened by faint noises, he quietly climbed a tree to see what was going on. Below, a group of hooded figures walked in a slow line, each holding a burning torch. Their shadows stretched and flickered across the trees like something out of a nightmare. From his spot above, he didn't move or breathe too loudly, afraid they'd notice him. He stayed there until sunrise. By then, the clearing was empty, but that image never left his mind. Strange woman.
Senhora?
It happened in China. A man woke up one night to faint crying outside his home. Curious, he stepped out and saw a woman dressed in white sitting alone on a bench. Her face was hidden under long hair, her head slightly bowed. When he asked if she was all right, she didn't respond. Instead, a sudden loud sound came from behind him. He turned instinctively, but when he looked back, she was gone. The street was empty. Some say it was just a trick of the night. Others believe he saw the weeping woman, the ghost said to appear before something strange happens. CERN mystery. Next is this video recorded at CERN's Geneva facility once shook the internet. The clip showed people in black cloaks gathering in a courtyard while a woman dressed in white stepped forward. She knelt, then lay on the ground as if part of a ritual. The footage felt too real for comfort. Some viewers said it had to be a prank or a film shoot, but others were convinced it was genuine and something far more secretive. CERN later said it was a hoax, yet no one ever claimed responsibility. So what really happened that night? The truth is still unclear. Cemetery figure.
Que porra é essa?
A man driving past a quiet cemetery in Ohio one night noticed a tall figure standing near a gravestone. It had horns and wore a black robe. Thinking it was a statue, he slowed down to take a closer look. That's when it moved. Not a trick of the light, an actual subtle movement, like it was alive. He captured it on camera, and the clip quickly spread online. Some claimed it was part of an underground ritual. Others said it was someone in costume. But if you watch closely, its stillness and the way it turns feels anything but human. Ritual in basement. One urban explorer, known for pushing limits, entered a decaying building to prove he feared nothing. The upper floors were empty and quiet, but when he descended to the basement, the silence changed. In the corner of a candlelit room sat a woman surrounded by symbols, deep in some sort of ritual. As he lifted his camera for a closer shot, she turned her head slowly toward him, her face bone white, frozen like a mask. Without a second thought, he bolted up the stairs. The footage ends abruptly there. No one knows if he made it out shaken or cursed, but the clip still gives chills to those who watch it. Street nun.
Hello? You alright?
A quiet neighborhood in the UK became the setting for a strange late-night recording. A man inside his flat heard noises outside and decided to check. To his surprise, a person dressed as a nun was pacing slowly back and forth under the streetlight. He called out, asking if they were okay.
You alright?
But got no answer. Feeling uneasy, he went back inside and called the police. Hours later, he posted an update. The figure was still there, walking silently, as if waiting for something. Some viewers brushed it off as a prank, while others felt it was a chilling sign of something darker moving through the night. Candle practice. They thought exploring an abandoned house at night would just be an adventure, until it wasn't. Inside those cracked walls, their flashlight beams caught something eerie, a small room glowing with candles. In the center, a person stood in a dark robe, moving slowly in circles like part of a ritual. The group froze for a second, unsure if they were interrupting something private or dangerous. Then, the figure suddenly turned and rushed straight toward them. They bolted out of the house, terrified. When the video hit the internet, people couldn't agree. Was it a spirit caught mid-ritual or someone experimenting with dark magic?
ماذا بك أيها اللعين؟ ماذا بك أيها اللعين؟
Candle circle. In 2023, a group of night explorers stumbled upon an old, run-down building during one of their late-night adventures. Inside, one particular room drew their attention. The door was slightly open, and faint light flickered inside. When they peeked through, they saw 4 candles arranged neatly on the floor, strange symbols drawn around them, and 2 robed figures standing perfectly still nearby. It didn't look staged. It looked intentional. Some who watched the footage later swore they could sense something unsettling through the screen, while others insisted it was all a setup. But for the people who filmed it, the air inside that room felt heavy, like they had just interrupted something they were never meant to see. Coffin room. An adventurer who'd been hearing rumors about strange noises in an abandoned house in Florida decided to finally see for himself. The moment he stepped inside, the air felt heavy, and the faint sound of murmuring came from one of the back rooms. When he pushed the door open, he froze. 3 people stood there, fully covered in robes and masks, surrounded by dozens of candles. But the center of the room was even worse. A wooden coffin-shaped box sat on the floor, with upside-down crosses and symbols drawn all over the walls. That's when he realized this wasn't just graffiti or a prank. Whether it was a real ritual or a cult gathering, one thing was certain: he didn't want to stick around long enough to find out. Before we move any further, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you can keep watching our amazing content. Strange gathering. While hiking near a cliff in 2021, a man noticed movement below and decided to record it. What he captured looked straight out of a nightmare. A large group dressed in white robes had gathered in a clearing. Among them were even children, moving in a way that looked rhythmic, almost ritualistic. Nothing about it felt normal. He quietly backed away and later uploaded the footage online. That's when theories exploded. Some believed it was the Illuminati performing a hidden ceremony. Others thought it was a revival of the KKK, but many were convinced it was a secret cult living deep in the woods, far away from anyone who might question what they were doing. Road of Red Robes. A group of friends driving home decided to take a shortcut through the woods in Arizona, thinking it'd save time. But halfway in, their headlights caught something that froze them. Figures on both sides of the road, standing completely still, dressed in red robes with white masks. None of them moved, not even when the car passed by. Deeper inside, they saw a flame burning in a clearing, with the masked figures gathered around it, chanting in low tones. That's when it hit them. They had walked into some sort of ritual, realizing they were never supposed to see it. The group quietly backed away before anyone noticed. Shadows in forest.
Hello?
2 friends entered a forest in Utah known for eerie tales, hoping to capture something strange on camera. After wandering for a while, they noticed dim lights flickering in the distance. Thinking it was a campfire, they crept closer, but what they saw looked nothing like a camping site. Someone or something was moving around candles placed in a circle. The moment they turned on their flashlights, their hearts sank. It wasn't one person, it was several, all cloaked in black, standing still and staring right at them. Then, without warning, the figures began to move toward them. That's when panic kicked in, and the 2 friends dropped their gear and ran as fast as they could, not daring to look back.
Hello?
Cave entity. During a cave expedition in Egypt, an explorer heard something unusual, low humming, echoing from deeper inside. At first, he thought it was just the wind, but the sound grew clearer, like chanting. He followed the sound until his light caught something crouched in a corner, a dark figure, oddly shaped and still. Acting on instinct, he threw salt toward it, believing it might ward off whatever it was. The creature flinched, but didn't disappear. Later, when the footage surfaced online, viewers were convinced he had stumbled upon something supernatural, a witch caught mid-ritual in a cave no one else dared to enter. Witch's warning. A team of ghost hunters traveled to a remote, cursed site in Mexico known for its dark legends. For a while, everything was still until they came across a human-shaped doll tied with thread, surrounded by candles burning low. Then came the whispers, voices softly calling their names from different directions. Moments later, a pale face appeared in the window, long nose, hollow eyes, almost like a witch watching them. They ran for their lives. Online viewers said she wasn't just watching, she was waiting. Some even believed she'd already marked them before they arrived. Road entities. This road in India always had strange stories tied to it. One night, a man decided to drive through it with a dash cam, just to see for himself. The road was quiet, empty, and pitch dark, until his headlights revealed a figure ahead. Someone in red was walking right in the middle of the lane, face hidden behind a pale mask. He slowed, but didn't stop. The camera kept rolling as he passed, too scared to look back. Later, viewers debated online. Some said it was a prank, others believed he had crossed paths with something not meant to be seen. Uninvited presence.
Baby blue, blue baby.
She set up a simple ritual for good luck. Candles lit, soft chants filling the room. Everything seemed calm until she noticed movement behind her. A faint shadow stood near the wall, watching. She froze. The chanting stopped. Then the shadow disappeared, only to reappear seconds later, this time right behind her. The moment felt heavy, unreal. People online said maybe it was lightning, maybe a trick of the camera, but some felt she had accidentally called something else into her ritual. Hallway visitor. One night, a man heard strange noises in his home and set up a camera to find out what was happening. Hours later, he captured something he couldn't explain. A tall shadow at the end of the hallway, wearing a long robe. Its shape didn't look human, and it just stood there, silent. He said it wasn't the first time it appeared. When the footage went public, viewers noticed what looked like horns on its head. Some called it the Goat Man. Others believed it was a cult member performing rituals. Whatever it was, most agreed he was right not to confront it. Lost hiker's tape. When forest rangers searched for a missing hiker years ago, they found his camera deep among the trees. Hoping for answers, they played the footage. It showed the man running out of breath, glancing back repeatedly. Behind him, shadowy figures in dark robes followed, almost gliding through the trees. The camera shook, fell, and the screen went black, but faint sounds continued, like dragging through leaves. Many believed he left the camera behind on purpose, hoping someone would find it and know what happened. Sadly, he never was. The only trace left was that haunting recording. Shack encounter. Back in 2019, a small group of online paranormal explorers filmed themselves investigating an old shack said to be haunted. Inside, the dim light revealed candles, strange symbols, and objects placed in a ritual-like circle. As they whispered about what it could mean, something dark suddenly darted up the wall behind them. It moved too fast to be human. The team panicked and ran, dropping their equipment on the way out. Later, when the video was shared online, viewers swore they saw a face forming in the shadows. Whether it was a witch or something else, no one's gone back since. Shadows on road. Feeling watched for days, a man decided to mount a camera at the back of his car, just to see if his paranoia was real. At first, everything looked ordinary, but as he replayed the footage, dark figures started to appear on the empty road behind him. They moved slowly, their long robes swaying as they walked in silence. Thinking they were nuns, he brushed it off until more began to show up, one after another. No faces, no sound, just shapes moving closer. That's when he realized maybe he wasn't just imagining it. Figure on car.
Va a volar, compa, comparta. Quiere volar, compa.
Authorities searching for a thief in the woods in 2023 stumbled across something they weren't prepared for. On top of a rusted, abandoned car sat a cloaked figure dressed in black. It didn't move, didn't react, just sat there like it was waiting. The camera zoomed in, and for a second, it almost looked like an old witch statue. But then the robe shifted ever so slightly. No words were spoken. The video ended abruptly, leaving only questions. Was it someone hiding, or something else watching them first? Chapel apparition.
What the hell's that?
A man filming his solo exploration of an abandoned chapel thought he was just recording another spooky building, but when he turned to film a memorial plaque, a sudden sound made him spin around, and right through the narrow window of a door, he saw her, a pale face framed in white cloth, staring straight at him. He ran outside in panic, his voice trembling. When he looked back, there it was again, this time standing still on the chapel's roof, as if watching him leave. Many who saw the footage believe the same thing. The nun wasn't just a reflection.
Guys, whatever I've just seen is staring right at me. What the is that?
Titanic spirit.
These meters going nuts.
Can you stop for a second?
At the Titanic Museum, a group of paranormal investigators decided to see if any trace of the ship's passengers still lingered among the relics. They focused their attention on the iron gates once used to separate lower-class travelers as the ship went down. The team began asking questions into the quiet air, hoping for a response. But when the camera turned briefly toward the visitors in the background, something unexpected appeared.
Can't hear you if you're in there.
A dark, cloaked figure moving silently past the crowd. No one in the room matched that description. Some say it was the spirit of a lost passenger. Others think it was something far older that followed the tragedy.
Can't hear you if you're in there.
Cemetery circle.
Are they praying? It looks like they're praying.
A man passing by a cemetery one night caught sight of something he could barely understand. Several hooded figures stood in a ring, chanting in low voices. Strange markings covered the ground between them. He hid behind a tree and began to record, trying not to make a sound. But then one of the figures stopped and slowly turned toward him. That was enough. He ran without looking back. To this day, no one knows who those people were or what they were summoning. All that remains is the video and the uneasy silence that followed. Witch and hunters.
¿Qué están haciendo?
Hola!
This clip from 2024 claimed to capture a witch and her pursuers in the same scene. In it, a woman cloaked in white was being led by two robed figures through a clearing. They laid her down on the ground, while another figure dressed in red began waving their hands, almost like performing a counter-ritual. The movements didn't look violent, more like a struggle between two kinds of power. Viewers were divided. Was it a performance or a real attempt to remove someone's dark abilities? Whatever it was, the clip left people debating whether old beliefs had just played out in front of the camera.
¿Qué le van a hacer? ¿Qué le van a hacer?
Window shadow. The man named Leo Matthews was filming a cathedral in a small Italian town and captured something he couldn't explain. At first, the clip seemed ordinary, but after posting it online, people began noticing something eerie. A faint figure standing in one of the windows. Zooming in, it looked exactly like a nun, even though the man swore the building had been abandoned for years. The sight left everyone questioning if it was just a trick of light or the presence of a spirit that never left the cathedral halls. Floating woman.
哎，屋里边还是有那东西，看着没？
During a quiet night walk in 2021, a man spotted a flickering light coming from an old, deserted house. Curious, he got closer and saw candles glowing inside, but not a single person around. Then he heard a soft noise behind him and turned. A woman stood in the distance. Before he could react, she began rising off the ground, slowly floating upward. Startled, he ran for his life. When the video surfaced online, people couldn't agree. Was it a real ritual or an elaborate setup? Either way, that sight would keep anyone far from abandoned houses. Hospital figure. Inside a hospital, someone filming casually caught something on camera that gave viewers chills. Near a patient's bed stood a tall, shadowy shape, still and silent. The clip was short, but clear enough to make people uneasy. Some said it looked like a dark figure waiting quietly beside the bed. Others dismissed it as clever editing. Whatever it was, that single frame of darkness left everyone with one question. What was really standing there when the camera rolled? Haunted forest. A few friends decided to camp in a forest known for strange legends and stories of witchcraft. Everything was fine until they heard an odd sound echoing through the trees. Curious, they went to look and found strange objects arranged on the ground, as if part of an old ritual. The air suddenly grew cold, and the trees seemed to move without wind. Then they saw it, a tall figure in a dark cloak standing at a distance. Within seconds, it vanished. That was enough for them to pack up and leave immediately, certain that whatever they disturbed didn't want company. Unknown follower. Street surveillance video shocked viewers worldwide. It showed two women walking down a quiet road late at night, unaware of what was behind them. A tall figure dressed completely in white followed closely, its face hidden, body covered, and movements gliding instead of walking. The women kept chatting and walking, never noticing how near it was. When the footage appeared online, people couldn't stop talking about it. Some said it was a wandering spirit. Others believed it was something darker, a sign or presence no one wanted following them. Hidden shelter. For weeks, locals kept hearing strange noises from the forest, so a few friends decided to find out what was going on. Deep inside the woods, they discovered something odd, an open pit covered with cloth. When they pulled it aside, their flashlights revealed a hooded person crouched inside, perfectly still. Around them were burning candles and a small bowl that looked part of some ritual. The air felt heavy, almost like they had interrupted something sacred. Online viewers later claimed they had stumbled upon a witch mid-ritual, not a lost traveler, as some first thought. Windshield encounter. A couple driving down a dark, empty road thought they might have hit someone, but when they looked ahead, what stared back through the cracked windshield wasn't human. The shape was dark and unrecognizable, its head slowly tilting toward them. The woman screamed while the man tried to reverse. Then it climbed onto the windshield, pressing closer. The camera footage is shaky, but the fear in their voices was real. Some think it was a prank gone wrong, but others believe they met something far beyond explanation. Interrupted broadcast. During a live news segment on ABC News Australia, something completely unexpected flashed across the screen. The report was about new safety laws for police dogs, until suddenly a different scene appeared. Three figures on a stage, one wearing a black hood, standing before an altar with an upside-down burning cross. Within seconds, the broadcast cut back to normal, but the audience was left stunned. Was it a technical glitch, a digital prank, or something intentionally inserted? No one ever found out, and the strange broadcast clip remains a mystery. Shadowed woman. While on a night patrol in a deserted area, a Saudi officer noticed a woman in white standing quietly under a streetlight. When he called out, she didn't respond. Instead, she began making faint, unsettling sounds. Her body twitched in uneven movements, almost like her balance was being controlled by something else. The officer's instinct screamed that something was off. Slowly, he stepped back and decided not to approach further. That night, he realized not every danger wears a weapon. Some stand still and stare back from the dark. Floating man. For weeks, villagers talked about a man who was said to practice magic. So one night, a few friends secretly followed him into the woods. Hidden among the trees, they filmed as he stood still, muttering words under his breath. Then, to their disbelief, he slowly began to rise above the ground, hovering, calm and steady. Online, people said it must have been camera tricks or wires. But for those who lived in that village, it wasn't special effects. It was the night they saw what he truly was. Water curse. In a quiet neighborhood, a late-night CCTV recording showed something deeply unsettling. A woman, completely covered, approached a house and began circling it while sprinkling water around. At first, it just seemed strange, but those familiar with the act recognized it, a form of black magic where the water is believed to be cursed. After that night, the residents claimed odd things started happening inside the house. The video spread quickly, leaving people uneasy, wondering what she had done and why that home was chosen. It's time for today's open discussion. This man went hiking in 2022 to capture the sunrise view in Alaska, but his camera caught something he didn't expect. Down below, 3 people dressed in white were walking in circles around a pentagram. In the center stood a man in black, slowly spinning like he was performing a ritual. It didn't look staged. It looked real. Real enough that the hiker didn't wait to see what came next. He turned and ran back down the hill. When the video went online, everyone had their own theory, but one thing was clear, that something dark was happening on that hilltop. What do you think about it? Comment below. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.